Mirror season 7 released the last weekend.
Yeah.
Yes, 10th of April was the first. Oh, it's been up for quite a bit actually. Obviously, whenever this show comes out, it feels like an event. People kind of go nuts for it. It's like a big British thing, isn't it? Really, like a big thing with British people. We've watched it. I've missed the last half of the last episode, but don't worry about that. So we're just gonna go through the episodes and talk how we felt about it and how we felt about every episode and how we felt the season overall. Do you want to start with general thoughts and then go into episode, or should we just go into the first episode? What would you like to do?
I mean, yeah, we can speak like briefly about general thoughts. I just think it's, as you said, it's like a big event whenever a Black Mirror series drops, but this one's felt more subdued than others.
It has, yeah, I agree.
It seemed to drop, and people went, "Oh, this is cool," but I haven't seen anything about it since. I mean, I only watched it nearly 2 weeks later. Like, I think I watched it, I finished it like a matter of days ago. And I didn't know anything, so it was nice in a way that I kind of didn't know anything going into it, and I could just enjoy it for what it was. Yeah, it feels like a bit of a subdued thing. So I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing, but just more of a, it came out, it happened, and everyone kind of moved on.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So what did you think about it in general?
Loved it.
Yeah, you did love it.
I said to you before, yeah, I think it is. I mean, we'll get into it more, but yeah, I think this is one of the best series they've done for me personally. I think this is one of the best as far as just pure consistency throughout. Yeah, it's brilliant, really, really good.
Good. I'm glad you.
By you,
I'm a little bit torn on it. I'm not so high on it as you, but the last 2 or 3 seasons of Black Mirror I've kind of dropped off and caught them whenever, so it's not been like a major thing for me. Good. I think some episodes are fantastic, some are a little disappointing. So again, kind of with Black Mirror, it's a bit of a mixed bag. So let's go through them and then we'll talk a bit more in depth. So first episode is titled Common People. This has Rashida Jones, Chris O'Dowd in it, and it's about basically a woman who gets a headache and then essentially gets an AI put into her, essentially, kind of.
Yeah, I think she has some sort of brain trauma, doesn't she? She has seems like an aneurysm or something. Like she basically she's basically dead, isn't she? So to keep her alive, they end up implanting this chip into her so she can.
She basically turns into a mobile phone, doesn't she? Where you have to use the signal around. And as this story progresses, it's comedic to begin with. Chris O'Dowd
is very funny.
Chris O'Dowd is very funny. Rashida Jones, it was great to see her doing something again. I feel like I haven't seen her in ages. They work really well as a partnership together. They're very good. But as we go on, this shit gets dark and bleak and kind of scary to the point where I was like, this is really uncomfortable. A banger start to the season. Like a brilliant come out the door swinging episode of the season. Yeah. Really, really good. I loved it.
Yeah, it's like, I think Black Mirror is kind of known for being almost a, what would be the word for, like a looking glass into the world in a way. Do you know what I mean? Like, it almost takes parts of the world and pushes them to the extreme to make you sort of think like, oh yeah, like they're things that are
not so far in the future. They're not so far in the future.
No, it never feels possible, but it's almost like worst case scenario for things, isn't it? Is what Black Mirror almost is.
I actually disagree. I actually feel like a lot of this season is quite plausible, considering, was it Elon Musk that was talking about putting chips into people's brains?
Yeah, things like that are understandable, but obviously they kind of, especially with this one, they kind of go with the subscription service, isn't it? So it's very much like, this is what will save your life. You only have to pay like $300 to start with a month for this. And then all of a sudden she starts like sort of malfunctioning. They're like, oh, we've got a new premium service. Now you've got to up your things to $500 a month. And then it keeps like, and then it's like, oh, well, if you want to leave the country because you've got like restrictions on how far they can go. And then it's like, if you want to leave, you have to pay extra again. It ends up being 1,000. And then they kind of start adding like ads onto the more basic versions of it. So she starts like doing ads in the middle of like conversation. So for example, there's like a sex scene, isn't it, where like she starts doing like speaking about sex in I can't remember the exact first bit. She does things about condoms, isn't it? She starts like sort of just going into like robot mode of speaking about condoms, and he's like, yeah, I'm not into this. And then she just sits up and is like, if you've got erectile dysfunction, and, blah, 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 and like starts talking about stuff like that. Brilliant. So it's very funny and very good, but as you said, it is. That's what I mean when it's like an extreme version, isn't it? Like, we all kind of sit there and go, oh, subscription's going up, like I'm knocking up £1, knocking up this, knocking up that, it's fucking bullshit, blah, blah. So yeah, it's an extreme version of a subscription service for a human, which is somewhat plausible and might end up happening eventually. But but yeah, it's a fantastic story
Well,
in general.
can we just point out the audacity of Netflix to release this episode with their subscription model going up and up? I thought that was fucking outrageous. I don't know who greenlit that at Netflix, but fair play, whoever had the bollocks to do it, I respect it.
Yeah.
But I think the bit that kind of freaked me out the most with this, where it was kind of used to a comedic value, but was Chris O'Dowd going on that website and doing shit to finance this this subscription service, which again is a thing that is out there. Not that we've got kind of use for it.
Web shit, isn't it?
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's there somewhere. Not that we use it as a general population, but it's clearly there somewhere. Yeah. And it's the fact that someone in work found it and started kind of bullying him with it. That mentally will, destroy a man. So to where this whole episode goes, I don't really want to talk too many spoilers because it's still relatively fresh. I don't want to spoil But where it goes in the last 5 minutes, this shit, honestly, it went from being really funny to being real surreal and depressing, where I was like, holy shit, that was crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it does do a great job. And again, I think because they're both very good comedic actors, 100%. It works. Like, it is funny throughout, and you are laughing at the situation, but then the more, as you said, the more it happens, the more you see what people have to put themselves through to be able to afford to do these things, which is smart in a way, isn't it? Because it is that mocking of subscription services, but then it's also looking at what people do have to do just to make bills.
100%.
For people to survive, especially when it comes to America, where we have a lot more privileges for us in America, especially with things like the NHS and stuff like that. Yeah, so I think especially in America, like it is an indictment on them to sort of be like, this is kind of how people have to cope with things. And even though we're kind of laughing at it and it's done in a funny way, it's still, as you said, like, by the end of it, you are like, oh shit, yeah, though it would be funny, but yeah, you would hit a point of being like, oh no, this is not fun anymore. Do you know what I mean? Like, what's better? It's basically the conundrum, isn't it? What is better? Given this person that I love so much and want to spend the rest of my life with a chance to, survive for another few years or whatever, or just letting them go and not have to drop in subscriptions and you know what I mean, and like ending your life and stuff. So it's a lot, but it is a fantastic start to the series.
Yeah, fun, like a genuinely brilliant, probably one of the best first episodes of Black Mirror they've done in a long time.
Yeah, probably.
So we'll jump over to episode 2 now, which is titled Bête Noire? Bête Noire? I don't know. But this was the episode with the chocolate woman, and they were like what was her name? Like, the girl came into it that she knew from school, and she was a little bit weird. What did you think of this episode?
It was mental, and I kind of loved it for how mental it was, because it's not, there are a few episodes here that are longer than others. This was probably like about 45 minutes ish, and it felt a nice little 45 minutes. Like, I think it never overstayed, it never felt too long at any point. It didn't feel too short either. It was just, it was like the mental one, isn't it? There's always one that just goes like a bit more extreme with just like kind of what is going on. And yeah, this was mental. It was like weird for so long, because it takes you a while. Well, it's not until like right at the end really that you kind of understand
what's going on.
Oh, this is all happening. But I think it's quite smartly done. I think to see how much the main woman kind of goes through towards to see what happens at the end, sort of thing. It's like, it's horrible, but it's kind of funny and
it's
kind of like
entertaining. It's almost a Victoria story in the end, isn't it? Yeah. My issue with this episode is it just took way too long to get to the punch. I enjoyed it. I did enjoy it. And by the end, I really enjoyed it, because I loved that last 10 minutes. But this is essentially a story of gaslighting. Like, let's be honest, that's what this episode is. Yeah,
that's exactly what it is. Yeah.
It's very well done. It's, again, pretty funny. It's a good comedic episode as well. And when you get to the punch, it's actually really cool. But it just took a little bit too long, where my interest started to die off a little bit. And I think it was because I wasn't invested in the main character. She's cool, don't get me wrong, she's a good character. But I was just a bit like, I almost wanted to just see more of Verity, which was the girl who came in.
Yeah, no, she was fantastic.
I wanted more of that than the main story. So I was just a bit like, okay. And then it almost just felt like we were repeating the same situation for the whole episode. And then you had that mental finale. So good episode. Don't get me wrong, I did enjoy it by the end, but I think if they hadn't nailed that ending, this could have been my least favorite. But because they brought it back around, and I mean, I kind of guessed what was going on towards the beginning. So, like, obviously, again, I don't want to spoil too much, but there's something that someone does through the whole episode that if you click onto it, you kind of go, there's something going on there. And I noticed it very early on. And I didn't guess where it was going, but I knew that was something to do with it. But again, great finale here. Great last 10 minutes. Gets quite brutal, gets quite insane. Which I really enjoyed.
Like shockingly brutal. I mean, the series in general is quite brutal. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I think to have such a... I just really enjoyed the I guess, the psychology of it, really. Like, to see... Because it starts quite silly, isn't it? Like, little silly things that are sort of, like, annoying to her, but she's like... You know, like, for example, it was the whole Barney's thing, wasn't it? Where she was like... She had her ex-boyfriend, or her current boyfriend, sorry, used to work in a place called Bernie's. And she was like, it's Bernie's. And he was like, no, Barney's. And, like, everyone just convinced her of the fact that it's Barney's. You could see her just being like, I don't understand. Like, you can tell throughout the whole series that something's not right, but you can't really understand why it's going on or what's happening. Like, do you know what I mean? So it kind of built quite nicely, and especially as the last, like, 10 minutes. But I think even just before that, like, just before... she kind of leaves work, like the last day of work is like, that's when you're like, holy shit, like, how is this? Because throughout it, you're trying to figure out how she's actually doing it. And then by the end, then it's like to see what I've actually witnessed her doing something, Verity doing something. So you've seen it for yourself, and then they've showed the video, and it's completely different. It was like, what the fuck? Like,
it was a cool reveal. I really enjoyed that. I think a solid episode. Glad they turned it around for me by the end, really. But all these episodes obviously have a theme of really tackling today's problems, and I think maybe that was my issue with it. It was just a little bit too on the nose for me about kind of like mental manipulation and gaslighting. I understand what Black Mirror is all about. I totally get it, but maybe it was just me. Just maybe I wasn't in the right mindset for that kind of episode. But very good. I did enjoy it. And sorry,
I know it's fair.
Did you notice there's a lot of Easter eggs and callbacks in this season? The Bernie's, where the guy works, that's where the kid worked in Shut Up and Dance episode, you know, when you find out the webcam.
Holy shit.
Same place, yeah, cool.
Oh, okay. There was a handful of things I noticed in that, but I didn't notice that one.
Yeah, cool.
That's actually, yes, of course he is. Yes. No, it's coming back to me now.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, I mean, again, this is kind of like what I was sort of saying at the start, where it's taking things and putting them to the extreme, isn't it? So as much as like gaslighting is 100% a thing that happens, I think by the end of the extremity of where it went was like it's a lot, like and it's just an episode. This one, I personally enjoyed it. I can understand why it wasn't for everyone, but it was more of an episode, really.
100% agree.
Something they were trying to do,
which kind of goes nicely into the next episode, because this third episode is absolutely incredible. It's called Hotel Reverie, and it was kind of nice that you had episode 2 sandwiched between 1 and 3, because this episode it nearly made me cry, I'll be honest. If you remember do you remember the episode San Junipero with the 2 girls in the club like a few years back? That was a very good episode.
Yes.
And this is very similar storytelling. So this is about, they're trying to remake old Hollywood films, and there's a company, I can't remember what the company's called. It's called like Redream. That's what it's called. And they essentially remake old films, but they put new stars in it, and they kind of put a bit of a new twist on it, but it's essentially the same film. Again, something that is so nearly what we're doing in life. It's crazy. Awkwafina's in this episode, and she's good, which is crazy.
No, I was waiting for that. I knew she was in there. I was like, oh, Dan's going to hate this now.
She was really good. She played a fantastic
she is fantastic.
Part. And
so they're basically using AI, isn't it? This is the whole sort of argument, especially in Hollywood now, where a lot of people are just using AI to do everything, isn't it? Like, they're trying to make films with AI, especially in adverts. I know it's like a big issue at the moment where people are doing things for promotional videos or for adverts. People are just using AI now rather than using
real artists.
Real artists. So I think this is probably the most on the nose and like plausible, I think.
I agree. I totally agree with you. Yeah.
Of the series, where like it feels like this maybe not the way they do it,
Yeah.
but something along these lines could definitely happen within the
100%.
next 5 to 10 years.
Yeah, I totally agree. And what I liked about this episode was there was no brutality, there was nothing
No,
nasty. This is a
no,
really sweet, like,
that's beautiful.
weird because obviously the AI argument, as we just mentioned, I'm very much against using it in a film where you're
Yeah,
replacing people's
100%.
jobs. But for this story, it was fucking stunning. Like I
Mm.
loved, and this was hour and a half. This episode, this was a long one.
Yeah, I think it was like about an hour and 20. Yeah, so it was quite a long one.
And honestly,
But I
this
didn't
just
feel it today.
no. This felt like a film I could have kept watching. I loved
Yeah,
the film in the film. Hotel Reverie was very Casablanca, very stuff like that,
yeah,
which was a really nice film to watch, which was kind of cool. And
yeah.
then
No, it was.
Issa Rae and Emma Corrin as the two lead actresses in that role. Fucking spectacular. Like great
Yeah.
chemistry.
The chemistry was, yeah, it was great. Wasn't it?
So good, and I love these little standalone romance stories. It's so soft that I know, but like God, I love it. Like San Junipero is one of my favorite episodes, so to kind of get another one similar to that, I could have watched more of this. I could have had another episode
Yeah,
of this.
yeah, another film of this, like, yeah.
So good.
It is just a beautiful story, isn't it? And I think it's done really well as well. Like you said, even with the film itself, because things like basically, what is the main actress name, the one who goes into the world?
Issa Rae.
Issa Rae, yeah. So she's basically like a today actor in this world, and everybody else is doing the exact same as the old film was. So everybody else in there believes that they're in the real world. They're not actors. This is their world,
Yeah.
but they're all hitting cues basically, in they? So they're all gonna be doing stuff happens in the film, hitting their cues, and they're unaware that they're in a film. And I mean, it's like fascinating to see her sort of react. So there's like things that she does or things that she's supposed to do that she forgets to do or doesn't do correctly, and like to see them sort of like panicking and being like, oh shit, like that's supposed to be, that character's supposed to be here when this happens, and then like she's not there, so it's like, oh, now this has happened with somebody
Yeah.
else, so now we've got to like
A lot of
redo everything
improvisation
and
was cool,
reshoot. Yeah, and reshoot things to be like, it felt like something, as I said, it felt like something that Hollywood could end up doing within the next 10 years of sort of
100%.
trying to like recreate these films, or to have like a more AI generated thing with like one or two actors within an AI world
Yeah.
trying to act. Yeah, no, it was fascinating. And obviously, like, yeah, that's all that happens, and it's just, yeah, their relationship is beautiful.
Yeah.
And
And I mean,
sad, isn't it?
the
Like, it's
plot
really.
line- Sorry, continue.
Sorry, I was just gonna say it's just really sad, isn't it?
It
Like,
is.
it's kind of one of those things where they're both similar, like in similar situations, even though they're like nearly a century apart or whatever, like as far as when they were alive and stuff. But yeah, it's just kind of like a beautiful kind of sad story where they kind of
I mean,
they end up building a romance in a mad
world.
film AI
Yeah.
world, which
yeah.
again is something that people are better off or worse are finding
Yeah.
AIs and having relationships and having these sort of like VR relationships and stuff. So it's again like another sort of prevalent thing within what's happening today, but and less weirdly, I guess, to what's actually going on in the
Yeah.
world right now. You know
I
what I
mean,
mean?
the actual plot line of the rest of the episode isn't anything that special. Obviously, you've got that kind of time limit of the film that they need to work through. So they only film this film for however long the film is.
Like an hour and a half to 2 hours, probably,
Yeah,
wasn't it?
and then you get sucked out. You're essentially going like in Avatar when they go in that machine, they turn into the Navis. You're essentially one of those. And then if anything happened in there, you'd be stuck in there essentially. The plot line's fine. The plot line's absolutely fine. But you don't go to this episode for that plot line. You go
No.
and I think one of my favorite parts on the kind of relationship side is that Emma Corrin's character in the film. She's not a lesbian. She was supposed to be with the guy. So when you kind of have that natural relationship then in that film where they just come together, so fucking good. So well written, fantastic. I love this episode. Loved it.
There's even the mentions in it, 'cause they had the sort of older lady, I think, who was part of the film or something, or was like a historian of the film or something, and like they can kind of they got like a rating of chemistry or something, isn't it? There's like they're able to to read how
Yes.
much she's like the affection or
It's like
something
goes
like
up
that.
and
It was.
down, doesn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, compared to what she's actually feeling for the character. And yeah, she's like the amount of times she mentions it, being like, yeah, she was never like that with him. Like,
Yeah, and I
so
think
you
that's
can
so
kind of
good.
see it throughout until the sort of like things, until things happen. That reveals a lot more. But yeah, it was. It's just it's just a really beautiful episode, isn't it? It's
Yeah,
just
and
a lovely time.
I think Emma Corrin is doing so much currently. So it's
Mm.
obviously thing from Deadpool and Wolverine, Cassandra Nova. She
Yeah.
did Nosferatu
Yes.
as well. I think
Jesus
they're gonna go
Christ,
on.
yeah, it is.
Yeah, they're gonna go on to do mad things. So I'm very excited to see how they do.
Mm.
Next episode then is Plaything. This is Peter Capaldi's episode where he essentially plays with a giant Tamagotchi. It's
Yeah.
This is kind of a cool episode because it's essentially a sequel to Bandersnatch, which is cool. I like that.
Yeah, sort of, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's more of
It's
a flashback sequel, which is weird.
yeah.
I'll be honest, it had me invested and then it lost me. I liked it until I didn't. It's not a bad episode, but this is where I'm noticing a few similarities as we go through the ending now. It's an episode, it's not a bad episode, but it's just an episode for me. Peter Capaldi's great in it. He plays such a fucking good part, and his character had me interested all the way. But I think they dropped the ending for me personally. I didn't care. I think they could have done a lot more, and they didn't. So if you want to kind of go through, we'll talk about it.
Yeah, I mean, I can see it. It's a bit of a mad ending, I guess. I loved it. I loved this episode.
Okay.
I just think it was kind of cool to see. I forgot his name as well. Guy from Bandersnatch.
Oh, Will Poulter?
Will Poulter, yes, thank you. Yeah, it was cool to see him kind of coming back to that character. 'Cause I mean, like, he's big time now, isn't he? Like, he's he's probably blowing up now. So yeah, it was kind of cool to see him coming back and kind of doing, as you said, it's almost like a pre-sequel, which is weird. But yeah, I just really enjoyed this. I don't know what it was about it. Like, I think it was kind of fascinating. It was a bit weird, isn't it? Well, it's extremely weird. It's sort of like I mean, what this is a speech on about today's society, I have no idea.
No, the most I could piece together realistically was how reliant we are on our digital world. Like, you go into a game, you'll play it for hours, and you'll get so connected to the characters where you'll kind of be like, these are my friends. Which I get it, and obviously Peter Capaldi is like a loser essentially in this, where the only people he befriends are little tiny characters in this game called Thronglets. Yeah. It was very odd.
Thronglets, yeah,
very odd.
Yeah, no, and I kind of I liked it for that reason. I liked that they were kind of like centered. I guess like maybe because I enjoy games, like, so maybe it was something that I connected with a bit more. Not that I've ever like been that obsessed with a game to a point where I'm just like it takes over my entire life. But yeah, I don't know what it was. I think the fact that it was like these. It was such a simplistic game, wasn't it? Like, nothing really happened in the game. When you're watching it, there's a load of little fellas that sort of mass produce and just like clone each other.
It wasn't a game, was it? It was a generated life form or something. Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, there's all nothing really happens, is it? Like, you just got to feed them and bath them and play with them, and then they just kind of keep expanding.
And they communicate in like musical notes, don't they?
Yeah, and then through drugs, because he was just off his tits on acid all the time. Like, he could kind of decipher what they were saying and just kept like building and building and building and yeah, I mean, it gets a lot at the end.
Yeah, it does.
But I think it almost builds up to that in a way.
Yeah.
Like, it feels like a kind of natural conclusion to it, as much as it's mental. I think it was well done in the fact that, like, straight away he's there like, I need a pen and paper straight away. I mean, and that is the premise of this film, is give this man a pen and paper. That's this episode is that.
Yeah.
And it's kind of mad that that's basically the whole story and stuff is fascinating. And I mean, again, brutal. Like, that whole incident, brutal.
Yeah, it was.
Like, to see kind of, it's a very light-hearted, nice, not nice episode, but it's quite a just a silly episode, isn't it? For a long time, just a man get off his tits speaking to fucking things on the computer, and then it just gets like really fucking dark at the end.
Yeah, it does.
But yeah, no, I enjoyed it, and there was, funny enough, there is a QR code right at the end of this episode.
Oh, okay.
on the credits, it popped up. So what the fuck's that? Went on it, and they've created the game.
The game is on Netflix, isn't it? You can play
on the app. Yeah. So I played it a bit because I was just kind of like fascinated to see what it was. I mean, it's very much the same thing. It's like, you're kind of playing along, like you play the literal game, and you can kind of go up in levels and stuff. And then it kind of like glitches and stuff when you're playing it on the phone. Like, do you know what I mean? So they ask you stuff about like life and stuff. It was quite fascinating. I probably only spent like 1 hour or so on it. Do you know what I mean? Just so I was quite interested to see what it was. But yeah, it was an episode on it. I personally enjoyed it. I can understand people not enjoying it because it's quite out there. And I guess if you have no real interest in games, then it would be something that you won't understand. I guess. Agree. Do you know what I mean? Totally agree. But yeah, somebody who's as I said, not completely lost myself in a game to a point where I'm all encompassing on my life. But for someone who enjoys games, I can spend hours and hours playing games. I think I probably related to this maybe a little more than you.
Yeah, and I mean, I think just episode wise, it was paced fantastically. It was acted fantastically. Yeah. I never was bored. I just think it ended a little bit too abruptly, and I think I just wanted more out of it. Do you know what I mean? That's my thing. Okay. I thought supporting cast was great as well. The detectives that were kind of trying to get the answers out of him, really, really good. So a good episode, but again, just not what I ever feel the need to go back to. Do you know what I mean?
Okay.
Okay, so Eulogy is next. This is Paul Giamatti, and again, a very common thread in this one is they have that thing that goes on their head.
Yeah, there's a lot of the thing on the heads of it, yeah.
So this is... Honestly, the plot with this one's a little muddy. So it's an
rubbish, this one, to be honest with you.
Yeah, so let's get that out of the way. I thought this was fucking garbage, I'll be honest.
Yeah, no, this is like... it's a real shame, because I said, this series as a whole, it might not be for everyone, but personally, I thought it was really solid. Like, as I said, it might not be every episode is a banger, but they were bangers amongst... Good
episodes. I agree.
Yeah. And then this one happened.
Yeah, and I mean, you've got someone like Paul Giamatti who can act his fucking ass off, and this was just boring. There was nothing going on. It's about an ex-girlfriend that has died, and they've got to contribute photos to their memorial. Right? That was the plot. Yeah. I'll be honest. I missed the twist at the end because I was bored, and I think I went on my phone.
Twist at the end.
I thought she was something. The voice of the thing was something to do with them, right?
No, it wasn't. Oh. It wasn't. There was no real. I mean, there was a twist, like well, not really a twist, but there was like a reveal halfway through.
Right.
Which I mean, obviously you saw, didn't you?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. But no, because it was the whole kind of point of this is that he was basically like a scorned lover, wasn't he? That like it was. Look, the premise is fantastic. So he's basically a scorned lover who had cut I mean, it'd been like, I don't know, 30, 40 years probably since they'd been together. And he cut this woman completely out of his life. He still had like photos and stuff where he'd like cut the heads out of the photos. Yes. He had like postcards where he'd like scribble out postcards. So he just couldn't, he'd basically like completely cut her out so much that he just couldn't remember what she looked like. And this was the whole point of this, is him trying to go through so they could see a photo, they could do a thing where they could move into that photo world. So cool. It was just
that was really cool. Like the blurred face and stuff. I thought that was really clever.
Yeah, you couldn't actually, you could never see her face, and it was him. It was almost like a Detective episode, really, wasn't it? Of him like finding clues along the way to be like, to try to figure out to try to actually see her face firstly, and then to try to, things were sort of like revealed along the way, that things that he'd missed because he was just angry, basically. But yeah, it's just nothing really happens, is it?
It's a nothing episode, and I feel like they just wasted Paul Giamatti, unfortunately. And he's clearly not a cheap actor to get. Like, this is Paul Giamatti. I don't really want to spend too much time on it because I just found it really boring.
No, that's fair. Yeah, no, this was the shame, really, of this series. Sorry.
And my issue was people were saying this was like sad and really depressing, and you know what I'm like, but if I get a bit of emotion, I'll say it. I mean, but I thought this was boring and nothing. So.
Yeah, and I think especially when you have the noir episode.
Yes.
I mean, that's beautiful and emotional and a lot of the things that this felt like it was trying to do, but it just didn't. Maybe it's just not us. I don't know. Maybe there's somebody who's had a similar sort of experience with somebody that this kind of like can relate to this a bit more. But yeah, for us, like, there was not You know, I mean, I'm pretty sure I'd be able to go, oh, that's my ex with it.
Yeah, same.
Without,
I'd go, oh,
you know
that's
what I
it. Yeah.
Yeah, you know, so I didn't really understand the premise of being like, oh, I've forgotten it. It's like, all right, I guess, like,
Yeah,
you
and I
know,
mean,
I
if
think he would come back
they had said
somewhat
because he
quickly.
was a bit older, maybe his memory was going,
Yeah,
I'd
a
be
bit
like, fair.
senile or something.
Nothing,
Yeah.
nothing.
Oh, he just when I cut her out of my life, I
Yeah.
don't like her anymore.
Mega
All right,
underbaked.
cool.
And the last episode is USS Callister Into Infinity, which is the sequel to the Star Trek USS Callister episode from a few seasons ago with Jesse Plemons.
Yeah.
I haven't finished it, so I'm going to let you take this. Please don't spoil the ending. I know. Don't spoil the ending because I am invested. So far, so good. Tell me how it was.
This is. I said to you, and I messaged you. I said this is like the magnum opus. Yeah, that's a word. Yeah, for them, because I feel like this isn't the best episode of Black Mirror they've ever done.
Yeah.
But it feels like this is. If you go back to the first series and compare it to this, like the leap is in. This is a movie. Do you know what I mean?
I couldn't get over the CGI.
No, it's insane. Like this is a film.
Yeah.
Like this is, you know, this is. I'm not like the biggest space fan. I love Star Wars, but outside of that, like, kind of interested in like Star Trek, Stargate, all that bollocks.
Yeah.
So I'm not really into it that much. But I think like this is the best space thing I've seen outside Star Wars.
Well, really.
Yeah, it's just class. But it's like it's stupid. It almost feels like I was never like a massive fan of it. I've seen the odd episode, but it almost feels like Red Dwarf with a budget.
Yeah,
Does that make sense?
That is very, very fair. That's very fair.
You know, like I mean, it does look incredible. It's really silly and it's really like I don't know, it's serious but kind of silly. I mean, it's Black Mirror, isn't it? But it's like I love even I mean, you've seen the start, haven't you? Where they got the Welsh kids and all that, like when they bot them all and all that. Like it was quite instantly. I was like, oh, okay, there's a Welsh kid in it. This is kind of cool. Like, and even he's Welsh. Like, the way he sounds like.
Is that the
like
Morris? That was great.
Yeah, no, he's like he's got a thick ass accent. But yeah, I kind of enjoyed the premise in general. Like kind of where it goes, it's like it was. I don't know. It's just mad. It's just quite a mad. It almost feels like a bit of a Marvel like film or spin-off in a way. Do you know what I mean? Like the way they
the
kind
CGI,
of
like compared to what Marvel are spewing out today, like the CGI is fucking immaculate. I couldn't believe it.
It is.
It's crazy.
No, it really is, and I think like the story's quite cool, but like I mean, obviously I'm not going to spoil it, but where it ends up going and how it ends up getting there and stuff, it is almost like a Marvel like film or a Marvel like spin-off of sorts, because it's like it's just mad, but it's just such a mad, and it's like there's a lot of twists, there's a lot of turns in the episode in general, and it's almost felt like something that if Black Mirror turned around now and said that's it,
it
feels like a perfect ending.
That's very fair. Yeah.
You know what I mean, as I said, it's not like it's one of my favorite Black Mirror episodes. It's not like the greatest thing I've ever seen.
Is it as good as the
like,
first one?
Episodes.
Because I mean, the first one is like
it's
gold
been a
standard,
while,
isn't it?
Yeah, it's been a while, but I would say so. Yeah, I think as a two, I think it's almost perfect. Like,
oh wow, fair.
Yeah, no, this is the first I'm saying is like a weird one because again, like I couldn't sit here and tell you that it's my favorite Black Mirror episode. It might have been my favorite part of the series.
Yeah.
Every episode of the series, but it's an incredible visual.
Yeah,
I mean, it feels like something that it almost feels like a film at the end of a series.
Yeah.
Like I know things like anime do that a lot, where you'll have like the series and then the last few will be like a big film or something, and it almost feels like that. That's kind of what I meant. Whereas if they turned around and said this is it now, we're done, and that was the end, like to go from the start to the first few episodes, which are they're very good episodes, don't get me wrong, but like the scale compared to this, crazy. Like it almost like they went, here's your budget, blow it, like do whatever you need to. It's a fucking masterpiece, to be honest with you.
Yeah, it's very cool. Like what I've seen, it is really cool. I'm looking forward to finishing it. Like I've really enjoyed it so far.
And I love her. I can't remember her name. Fucking hell, she's good.
She's from Penguin, am I right?
Yeah, she was fantastic in that as well. Like, but fuck me, because I knew she was initially from where I know is from How I Met Your Mother.
Yes, of course. Oh my god.
Because she's Ted's wife, isn't she? Yeah, so I knew her from that. But I watched Penguin and that was fantastic. I've seen her in this, and yeah, she's she is it. Like, I mean, like she's being films and shit. Like, because this woman is.
I'm pretty sure she's the one who is in Palm Springs. Am I wrong in saying that? She is.
That is.
You should watch Palm Springs. It's a film with Andy Samberg. It's really good, and she's in it. Give it a watch.
Oh, okay, okay. Yeah, but I think she should get some more, especially more dramatic. And this is kind of funnier, I guess, but it's kind of like a comedy drama, I guess, this sort of film. I would call it a film. I'm not even going to refer to it as an episode.
Well, it's like an hour and a half again, isn't it? It's a long
yeah, it is a film. Like, yeah, no, I think she needs to be getting a lot more film roles. Yeah, because she is fucking phenomenal. Yeah, and this is she's great in it. Even the supporting cast is fantastic in this.
It is
because the guy, is it not? I might be completely wrong. Is it not? He looks very similar to the guy from Always Sunny.
So one of these guys is in Always Sunny. Are you talking about the guy who kind of runs the place?
Yeah, the one with the big quiff, like.
Yeah, he is one of the.
He's one of the creeps in there.
Yes, yeah, you're absolutely correct.
Yeah, I thought it was. Yeah. I seen him and I was like, "Fuck, man, he looks all right." Yeah, like, obviously they make him look so shit. Like, obviously, it's Sunny, but I seen him and I was like, "Oh man, you're actually quite a normal-looking fella when they're kind of not making you try to look like shit."
Yeah.
But yeah, he's great in it. I didn't really know much of the other Spawn cast. Really like the European woman. I don't know where she's from. She sounds like Russian or something.
Yeah, she's like the alien, isn't
Polish
she?
or something. But she's really sick in it. And even like all the like game characters that end up coming through. Like you have that one like British girl who's really sick, and obviously you got like the Welsh lad and stuff. So yeah, I think it is a masterpiece.
Yeah, I will be finishing it probably later on, to be fair, because that's the only one I need to finish. So I'm looking forward to watching that.
Yeah.
Cool. So yeah, that is Black Mirror season 7. On the whole, I think you really enjoyed it, didn't you?
Yeah, I think as I said, overall, I'd have to like go back and look over previous series to see if it is my favorite. But I think it might be. I know that first one is really good, but it's only like 2 or 3 episodes. I can't really. I feel sort of a bit more like you can't really judge something on like 2 or 3 episodes compared to like 6 or 7, you know. But yeah, as I said, in general, I find Black Mirror solid.
Yeah.
Like there's always 1 or 2 episodes I'm like, this is great, and then there's usually 3 or 4 I'm like, okay, that's fine. But I think this overall, as I said, maybe it's recency bias, but I think it might be my favorite series they've done.
That's interesting, yeah. I mean, it's the same with all anthology stuff, really, isn't it? You're always going to get one you like, one you don't like, one you love, one you really didn't like. I think this is a really solid season. For someone who hasn't really been in the Black Mirror loop for a long time, I don't even think I've seen the last season. This was nice.
I think I have that.
Yeah, this was nice to kind of jump back into. I don't think it's like the greatest season in the world, but I think they started off with a really strong episode. Kind of went into an episode I personally wasn't massive until the end, and then that 3rd episode is fantastic. So it's kind of like really good, fine, really good, fine, bad, and then the last episode, which I still need to finish. So I think overall I've enjoyed it. Yeah. I'm not in a rush for another season. Like whenever they drop another one, I'll watch it. But it's just Black Mirror, really, and a few. That's it. Like.
Yeah, like there's not really something you can be excited for, is it? Because you're not following like TV series in general. You get excited because you're going to wonder what happens with that character. Whereas that's not what this series is. It's, as you said, it's just an episode of stuff. So whenever it drops, it feels like, as you said, it feels like an event.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm not clamoring for more anytime soon. No. But when it comes out, I'll be there.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, 100%. I feel exactly the same. Cool. Anything else to add for Black Mirror?
Oh. I enjoyed it. Go watch it. Yeah, I think, as I said, I'm quite surprised that this is the one that hasn't blown up.
As
much as previous ones. Like I think there's a lot of really, really good shit in here that probably deserves a bit more recognition than it's getting.
Yeah.
So yeah, go check it out. That's all.
Yeah, I totally agree. Yeah, if you haven't started it yet, definitely go and watch it. It's a long season because each episode is like an hour plus, but it's definitely something.
It's not that bad.
No, it's 6 episodes, and they're like most of them are over an hour, so it's about 6.5 hours. Oh, is it? I thought I thought every episode was an hour.
No, it was only 2. No, it's like I think most of them are like 50, 45. There's 4 that are 50, 45, and then there's the 2 big ones that's like an hour and 15, hour and a half. So it's
not too long. Then, yeah.
It's not as bad as it seems.
But yeah, you could probably just
go check it out.
Evening, couldn't you? Really, just blast it through in an afternoon. But yeah, absolutely great. Thank you very much for watching. Hopefully, you guys watch it and enjoy it. And yeah, we will see you on the next one.
Bye.